Are you there, Evelyn?
Yes, of course I am. I'm always here. What's the matter, Evelyn?
I'm frightened. It's that time of year again, isn't it, Evelyn?
Yes, it is that time of year again, Evelyn.
Tell me once more how it all happened, Evelyn.
Hush now. We don't talk about that, because it makes us sad, Evelyn.
I won't be sad this time, I promise. Please, tell me again about the tragic events of September, Evelyn.
Evelyn Evelyn, the two fictional duo invented by Amanda Palmer and Jason Webley, talks about the dark story of the two conjoined twins. The album came out in 2010 and became very popular. Its controversy is probably what made it popular. I think the album has deeper meaning and made it beautiful. This story talks about religious cults, children brothels, and many heavy subjects that is not recommended for sensitive eyes. Viewer discretion is advised. Evelyn Evelyn are two fictional characters with a sad background that we will cover as we go on in the video. They even have a website that gives us a little bit more intel about who they are. Evelyn Evelyn and Neville are a songwriter duo performing original compositions on piano, ukulele, guitar, and accordion. The sisters are, I'm gonna butcher this, Parapegus tribus depetrius twins. For those wondering what that means, it's just a big fancy word that means they're conjoined, sharing 3 legs, 2 arms, 3 lungs, 2 hearts, and a single liver. Born September 11th, 1985 on a small farm in Kansas-Colorado border, the Evelyns have traveled the greater part of North America, performing with Dillard's Fullerton Elusive Travel Show. Their unique musical style is what inspired by their many eclectic influence from the 80s, music to show tunes Joy Davidson to the Andrews Sisters. The sisters currently reside in Walla Walla, Washington. They are fluent in chicken and their favorite colors are purple and yellow. All this seems sweet and cute, but everything that I just said has more disturbing meaning behind it, and we will dive into their story. For those who are still here, I warn you again, viewer discretion is advised. On to the lyrics. So, this is our first song by the title Evelyn Evelyn. This song features both our sisters talking about how hard their life is and being them. They kind of talk about their daily life and how it felt to be them. Both of them engage in conversation. Every one of them says the other's contradictions. In the first line, we hear them ask the hard question, why do we bother to stay? And her sister replying, why are you running away? And also, don't you feel like severing? And the sister replying, it's just come together at last. The feeling of them wanting to separate, have their own life is always in the back of their head. But them growing up together like this, all they know is to be together. And it's really sad that they conversate this sometimes. In our first verse, we hear them say the line, we grew up closer than most. And this line perfectly describes how their life is. Them being stuck together means that they are closer than most emotionally and physically. And all they know is each other. They know each other's secrets, sleep in the same bed, and basically are two sides of the same coin. There's nothing they can hide from each other. Then they go on talking about stuff that they have to go through every day. What shall we eat tonight? What shall we wear today? This line gives us a highlight on how they have to decide on basic life decisions together. And we get hit with the train of emotion in the line, what if they find us? They're not looking anyway. Right now this line doesn't have that much of a deep meaning, but as further we go through the album, the more revealing this line is. The next line is also very sad, and we hear them say the line, this is our birthday, so why are we weeping? And my guess is this is how they always spend their birthday, because their appearance, I'm guessing they don't have a lot of friends. And this is how they spend their birthday, with each other. At your side, I feel like a ghost. I wake up first and I stare at you sleeping. We have one sister who feels like she is not the main focus and resents her sister for it, and the other cares about her sister so much that just waking up to her every day makes her feel safe. This is our first view on how they differentiate from each other. The next verse, we go back to how they think in their daily life. And one line that really got to me is, do you think I should marry him, but we just met him yesterday? Notice how in the line, one of the Evelyns say, I instead of we, and then the other one says, we just met him yesterday. I feel like this line is showing us that the start of how one of the twins wants a life separate from her sister, but the other sister being the voice of reason saying, we can't have that. The stuff we want because of the way we are. I want to be famous. They're watching us anyway. I'm guessing because of their appearance, people always stare at them, so their dream of them becoming famous, as we will continue to see in the album, is on the top of their heads, but they are not famous for the right reasons. In this verse, they continue the phrase of, we grew up very close, but one of the sisters replying with, a parasite needs a host. This is her continuing resentment that she has for her sister, and she feels like her sister is just a parasite, a leech that will never leave. The other sister did not take well to this and said, I'm only trying to do what's best for us. I'm guessing she means how she feels like she's always trying to get her sister to face the reality of their situation. To which the other Evelyn replies, I never asked for this, I never wanted this, I just want some time to myself. And her sister replies, looking into your eyes, I'm coming home. They continue this pattern, one of the sisters hating the other, one of them wanting nothing to do with her, and the other one is being a love with her sister, trying to convince her that their life isn't that bad. They continue arguing with one another, and them saying, I love this line so much, by the way. Why don't you let me be free? With her sister replying, cause you never dared to be. This line highlights the situation they have at hand. One of the sisters wants to be free and wants to have their own life, and her sister replies, cause you never dare to be, is beautiful because it explains how she could have freedom, mental freedom, if she would just accept the situation they have at hand. Because they're conjoined, they do not get to have that freedom. Then we have both twins arguing in different subjects that overlap each other. One of them saying, I just want you here with me, God, can't we get along? And the other one saying, I just want my privacy, God, can't you leave me alone? This is where they finally overlap one another. Just want to be with one, just wanting to be with her sister, and the other one wanting nothing to do with her sister and wanting to be free. So, the final analysis for Evelyn Evelyn, the intro song. Now, for an intro song, it's not heavy as the other seems, but it's still a sad one. One thing that I learned from the song is that one of the sisters is narcissistic. I'm not saying it's her fault necessarily, like she has reasons to be narcissistic, but she's still narcissistic. She seems to want to have her own life, which is understandable, but her sister trying to make her come to terms with reality, which is very hard for her sister to comprehend. Also, I realized that the sister has a deep obsession with her twin, and it's kind of toxic and not good for either of them. I can imagine being a conjoined twin is very stressful, especially when one of the sisters wants to be free and the other one has an obsession with her sister. Another thing that I noticed about the song is it might have symbolism for maybe self-resentment for oneself. Maybe the twins represent one single person and how they struggle to love themselves. Another thing that I found interesting is when you Google the meaning of Evelyn, it means desired and wished for. Maybe that's why they are called Evelyn Evelyn, because one of them desires and the other one wishes for. It also means island, which can also symbolize of them being an outcast and alone. Maybe I'm digging too deep into this, but nevertheless, it's fun to speculate. This song is merely an intro to our deeper themes, so congratulations if you're still here. Our next song goes by the title of A Campaign of Shock and Awe. Now, this song is presented in a fashion that makes it seem like a circus. You have two showmen's voices presenting Evelyn Evelyn, but not in a good way. Stupendous, revolting, you'll be shocked, you'll be awed, a true freak of nature, a blunder of God. They go on to brag about everything they could do, like singing, dancing, and how they have been seen by pearlers in France. And all this was just to get them to pay for money for photographs. Isn't it nice that they're being so nice to us? I feel like this chorus is them kind of making the best of their own situation, even though it's not the best. Aren't we lucky to be here? They keep on suffering and denying their suffering, and they said smile for the camera. Evelyn is a way of them saying smile to the picture, which in most songs is symbolic for put on your fake face and make it seem like we're not suffering. The next verse, we are met with the same showman voices, but the lyrics get a little bit more stranger. I know you like twins and they're so well behaved, not a single complaint yet. And finally, I don't know whether I should charge double or triple. So obviously the girls are being pimped, raped by whoever their captors are. Keep in mind that Evelyn Evelyn are still very little, so we indeed are dealing with pedophilia. Our final intro to Evelyn Evelyn. Have you heard a new disc by Evelyn sisters? They are now showing us the third part of their story, where they are now famous and still being exploited. So, for my final analysis of the song, I see this as an index for what is ahead in the album. The first part of the song gives us a look on what their life was in the circus, which we will see later in the album, highlighted by the way they are presented, girls saying stuff like, "They can sing, they can dance, blah 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 blah." The second part talks about when they were in an underage brothel and being visited by perverts, pedophiles that would just have their way with them. Yes, you heard me right, child brothel. Trust me, we're just getting started. And our third part is them finally being famous, like they wanted to be, but having their songs on Rolling Stone, Spin, The New Yorker. The song is an index to what is to come. To my fellow viewers who are still here, this will be your final warning. You can click out of the video now. Next title, The Tragic Events of September, Part 1. What I like about this album is that we get a background of the story of the twins. Now this is where we dive into heavy subjects. Well, we start with an interlude with the two sisters talking about their tragic past. We get a background of what was going on during this time, like the St. Elmo album first being on top of the charts and the Titanic being found. And we are moved to a small farm that I'm guessing is in the middle of nowhere and far away from the city, and a pregnant woman is ready to give birth to twins. But things don't go as planned. They drive her to the doctor house, and the doctor is heavily religious, which will be more important as we listen to the song. We get a background of the mom who gave up being a legal assistant to go with her lover in the farm that he inherited. And we learn that the mother dies while giving birth on September 11th. We are then presented by our twins, Evelyn and Evelyn, who the doctor tries to cut in half while muttering biblical quotes that, in quote, doubtfully accuracy, meaning that he was not telling 100% of the true words, and he tries to cut the twins in half with a chainsaw. The most normal doctor in Ohio, I guess. But lo and behold, the sheriff appears and puts a stop to the crazy doctor and shoots him in the heart, killing him instantly. While this is still happening, the father of Evelyn Evelyn is not paying attention, but the doctor's chainsaw goes flying in the air and strikes him in the back of the neck, killing him instantly. After all this happens, the sheriff takes Evelyn Evelyn to his car and tries to deliver them to a disabled youth center. But our luck couldn't get any better, because as soon as he tries to do that, a truck appears out of nowhere and hits the sheriff's car. The sheriff is still alive but will die 20 minutes later due to blood loss. So then the image becomes a bunch of dead chickens, feathers in the air, and they are dead and spilled all over the road. But hey, hope goes up as our trucker takes the twins and takes them in as his own. We are now 10 minutes in the album. A mother gives birth to two conjoined twins. A doctor gets shot and killed by a sheriff after trying to kill the twins, and the chainsaw he tried to use to kill the twins hits the father, kills him instantly, and we get this hope that the sheriff saves them, but nope. Here comes a truck killing the sheriff and a bunch of chickens. And now Evelyn Evelyn is rescued by Chicken Man. Just a normal day in Ohio, I guess.
Boo! You stink!
Next title. Have you seen my sister Evelyn? So, nothing too crazy about this song. I think this song just represents one of the songs that they would perform while they were in the circus. The song just follows the sisters looking for their conjoined twin. I mean, don't you hate it when your conjoined twin goes missing? So nothing too crazy in this song, but if y'all think there's deeper meaning to this song, go ahead and leave your theories in the comments. Next title, Chicken Man. So, at first glance, this song seems just like a little fun song with everyone singing Chicken Man. But the way I see it, it's a sound of the chickens talking. I know it sounds crazy, but thinking about it, didn't Evelyn Evelyn say in their bio that they were fluent in chicken? And also, they were rescued by a chicken man, so, like, they would be living with them. After that, we get this verse that might be from the chickens. The curtain may cover the setting of the sun. Take comfort, my sisters and brothers, the chicken man will come. This is how the chickens live, them being trapped and never being able to see the sun. The only comfort or joy they feel is when the chicken man comes, but for once, he never did. And in desperation, we hear Evelyn Evelyn crying out to him while they are trapped with the chickens. For my final analysis of this song represents what the chicken man did to Evelyn Evelyn after he adopted them. So we have Evelyn Evelyn, probably like this 6-year-old girl who's living with a bunch of chickens, and they only ever see the chicken man when the chicken man comes to feed them. All right, so keep that in mind. 6-year-olds living in a cage with a bunch of chickens, and since they're fluent, they can understand what the chickens are saying, which is them repeating chicken man, chicken man, chicken man, because they're hungry and the chicken man didn't come to feed them, leaving Evelyn Evelyn screaming out in despair. Next title, Tragic Events Part 2. We start with Evelyn Evelyn mourning Sandy and Bimba and Kimba. Who is Sandy, Bimba, and Kimba? We will get to that soon. The year is now 1991, and it's almost the girl's 6th birthday. The chicken farmer who found them and put them with his other chickens, the man took care of the girls the only way he knew how, feeding them mashed crumble pellets and egg buster. So for 6 years of their life, they spent it locked up in a 6-foot by 6-foot wire mesh cage eating chicken food. And the worst part is we can't even be mad at Chicken Man because this is the only way he knew how to take care of them. And on the girl's 6th birthday, he stops coming to feed them. And just like in the song Chicken Man, the girls cry out to him. Days pass and the chickens being just dying out and rot and being and smelling really bad, the girls break out of their cage in desperation for foods and the whereabouts of Chicken Man. They try to get into his house, but the door is locked, so they go to drink out of the hose. And this is the last we hear of Chicken Man. Rest in peace. The girls leave the area and are kidnapped by a guy who gave them a Twix bar, which is their first candy. And I kind of think this is sweet because, you know, Twix bars usually come in like 2, so I'm pretty sure they got a piece each. They then transferred from a car to car until they reached to a cabin near trailer parks. An overweight woman adopts the girls and calls them Evelyn. Get it? Okay. They are well taken care of, but they do photo sessions, which are questionable costumes, which we can only assume are or CP. We're just going to call it CP. I'm going to censor out that last part. We then find out that this is the children's brothel, as they are visited by many men that are referred to as their quote-unquote uncles. And the endless trams of uncle visit them, but the girls don't like the uncles. But the woman says family is family, and blood is thicker than water. We are then introduced by the girl that Evelyn and Evelyn were mourning earlier, Sandy. By the way, they describe her that she looks like a mermaid. But sadly, after a while, Sandy disappears and never returns. Where did she go? We will find out soon. And when Sandy left, the twins get bullied. One thing that I've noticed is that after the girls turn 12 and 13, they disappear and never return. So the sisters fear the worst. So after a while at the brothel, the girls are taken to the circus, who are responsible for animal cruelty and human slave trafficking. The girls work with clowns who are also their quote-unquote uncles, and I'm just going to assume that uncles in this album means pedophiles or molesters for now. And the circus is where they meet Kimba and Bimba, a conjoined elephant. The elephants and the twins form like a special bond, but sadly, the elephant dies because they eat nothing but popcorn and cotton candy. And then Evelyn and Evelyn loses their other friend. After dying, the elephants are thrown into a trash compactor, and the death of the elephant depresses the girls that they are no longer willing to perform, in which the ringmaster put them in a pink tutu and forces them to balance on a ball for entertainment. While this is all happening, people begin to protest from religious groups, one of them being called Fasten, meaning the Foundation for Always Separate Siamese Twins Everywhere Now. They believe that it is the will of the Lord that the twins be separated through surgery. The second group is called SLIT, meaning the Society for Prevention of Linked Identical Twins, and they believe that the conjoined twins will play a role in the second coming of Christ. The twins are scared of the groups for a good reason, and a fight begins between the two, and they try to leave the circus during all the chaos. So for my analysis of this title, so it's just the background, but we get a little bit a deeper dive in who Evelyn Evelyn is, and this is where we see the circus and the child brothel in. Heavy subjects, but this is what's going on in this story. And another thing I like about this album is how it focuses around the Midwest. And me being from the Midwest, I can tell you that this religion groups, these radicals, they are true and very real and very dangerous. And another thing that I did notice is how how easy it was for the girls to just disappear like that, which is another problem we have in the Midwest. We have a huge human trafficking problem. So I think that this album is mostly talking about that, like problems we have here in the Midwest, area that is not very much talked about. Next title, Sandy Fishnets. Now before we start, I just want to tell you guys that I'm a tough motherfucker, but this song made me cry. So now we're hearing the tragic story of the girl named Sandy Fishnets, one of the girls in the brothel. The chorus that we start with is rather disturbing, with the verse saying, "Sandy Fishnets washed up on the shore." In this verse, we can presume that Sandy is dead. And the verse, what was she catching, and will she be sore? I think when they say catching, I think they mean STDs. And when they say will she be sore, it will mean will she be sore from all the men she's having sex with. They describe her as the prettiest of all the new girls. How she can speak French, how she came from Montreal. I'm guessing that she was a favorite of the brothel since she never had to help with chores and got a bed all to herself. They tell us that Sandy had lots of uncles and was always tired, meaning that she was sexually abused way too often and that she couldn't take it. How they love her in those early days. Keep in mind that Sandy was with them for 3 Christmases and sent away at the age of 13, meaning that she was being taken advantage of since she was 10, or even before then. The line, "we would see them kissing on the lake." Keep in mind, most of the uncles were 40s and she was only 10. Now I know this is fiction, but the fact that this stuff actually happens all the time makes me sick. After a while, Sandy quote unquote grew up and lines of uncles dwindled down. And then when Melissa May showed up, which I can assume is a new young girl, Sandy had to share a bed with the twins. The next verse is what the twins imagined when Sandy disappeared. She became a pirate captain like the ones in her stories, sailed through the seas going to uncharted lands, and they asked million-dollar questions. When the girls get order, what will they do with us when they are through with us? Sandy, what are we sailing for? These lines is the twins asking her what will happen to all of them when they are no longer able to satisfy their quote-unquote uncles, and line where are we sailing for is sad, most of all because they are asking, what is this all for? Where are we going and what are they going to do to us when it's all over? We open up with our story end, Christmas morning, 1993. All the girls get a present. Evelyn gets one, other Evelyn gets one, but Sandy got nothing. And the line, Uncle Gerald said he liked Christine. Miss Burglar said that she had to leave. This line hits hard because I think it means that Mr. Gerald was the last guy who was interested in Sandy and said that she'd rather be with Christine, so Sandy was making no money, so she had to leave the day she turned 13. And that's where we end our story. So thinking about this song, I'm just gonna lie to you guys, it fucked me up the first time I listened to it. And my final analysis for this song is, Sandy is a character that represents human trafficking throughout the entire world. We see it every day, little girls going missing. Our worst fears is that they end up in a place like this. She grew up as a sex object, and her reception of love is sex with older men. I like to think that she's in a better place now, but the truth is she probably died or is still in prostitution, just at a different brothel. What's sad is that this is the only person who ever showed Evelyn Evelyn an unselfish kindness throughout the entire album. Fictional or not, this happens all the time and is a real issue. And I know Sandy Fishnets is a fictional character, but rest in peace to her, honestly. Next song, Elephant Elephant. I'm not gonna lie, you guys, this song kind of picks up the mood after hearing Sandy Fishnets. Nothing too crazy on this song, rather than the song that Evelyn Evelyn wrote for Kimba and Bimba. I'm guessing this is a song that they performed while their time in the circus. Or this is just a song that they wrote to remember their dead elephant friend. Maybe there's a deeper meaning to this song, but I wouldn't know. Please leave your serious in the comment below. But for my final analysis to the song, I would just like to think that it's just a funeral song or a performance song that they made for the conjoined elephants, Kimba and Bimba. Next title, You Only Want Me Because of My Sister. So this song is actually more funny than disturbing. I don't know. Maybe I'm giving into this sick obsession of creepy stuff, but I did find this song very funny. At first, it seems like your typical country song with a man pull you up in his 69 Impala picking up Trojans in a six-pack, but we get a twist where we learn that the man doesn't want the girl, she would rather be with her sister. She then tells him that you're not getting double, and it's not enough with the two-timing guys who only want her because of her sister. She tells the man that they look identical, but personality-wise, they are completely different. And she tells the man that his heart belongs to her. She tells them that if tomorrow she would die, that her sister would not give two shits and doesn't even know his name. She's going with another guy. And this is where our twist comes. So we learn that the woman in the song kills her sister and no one suspects anything, and she did it to make sure that the man she has her eyes on loves her more than her sister. And what's funny is that she sees this as a minor inconvenience. It says, you can't imagine how much I missed her, but now I know you want me and not my sister. I don't know, maybe I'm fed up, but this is the fucking funniest thing I ever heard today. And just listen to the song. Yeah, I mean, I know you guys are probably like, oh, that's not funny, Lobo. It's a song about people killing each other. It's funny, okay? It's funny. And the final line where it's like, it pains my heart to think her rotting, stinking, maggot-infested, bloated, puzzling corpse beneath the earth. I'm just like, what? So, my final analysis for this song. So, to what there is to uncover from this song, I'd like to think that this is just another one of their performing songs that they did as like a comedy. But also, it might be one of the sisters writing the song because she want her own life. But one thing that doesn't make sense is that a mother and a father are mentioned in the song, which I seem to remember those two are not very alive. And I mean, who knows, this might be one of those fantasies of one of the twins, but I hate to admit that this is the funniest song I have ever listened to. God damn it, I'm turning into you guys, man. Next title, Tragic Events Part 3. So now, the year is 2004, 2 years after El Lobo was born, by the way. The girls escaped the circus that abused them, and on their 19th birthday took only a few things with them, including change of clothes, their painted ukulele, and a photo of Bimba and Kimba. They get picked up by a trucker who was a retired wrestler, and when he finds out that they're conjoined twins, he ditches them in Walla Walla, Washington. They end up going to a motel where a man lets them have food and a house in exchange for work. During their time there, they feel lonelier than ever before and are mistreated by the other workers. All they can do is practice on their ukulele, and then the owner of the motel teaches them how to use a computer. While on the web, they stumble on a website that has musicians, and they start to make their own album and uploaded it to the website. And that's where our story ends, with the sisters going to sleep excited for all the new friends that they are going to have. Next song title, MySpace. So the girls finally were able to end their story, but the music still continues. It's hard enough to know where you're really supposed to go when you're looking for friends' Facebook a ticket to another place. So I'm guessing that these lyrics are reference to what it's like to be on the internet, and they are talking about their experience of being popular online. Everyone stares at you, but nobody sees you. Might be them telling us how their life felt before they found the internet. How they call it, cafe on the internet. The next verse continues talking about their life on the internet. You want somewhere to hide where everyone can find you? These lines are poetic in a sense that they are a freak in our world, but they still want to be famous. And with the internet, you can be whoever you want to be. This praise of the internet continues. It's a big world out there. Everybody's looking for a gift to share. They are all here to share what they have to offer to the world. To them, it's beautiful. And then we finish our song with them saying, and no one notices or cares whether I just want to be friends all together in one place. And also, I just want to be friends with the entire human race. I just want my space. These lines are the twins telling us how amazing the internet is and how they can't get enough of it. And if there's anyone like really young in my subscription, MySpace was like the shitty version of Facebook that just disappeared. I never used it, but I know what it is because of all the memes. So for my final analysis of this song, I'm guessing that this is them just appreciating the internet. Since most of their life they were freaks, conjoined twins who aren't really supposed to be accepted, with this new thing called the internet, they were able to be accepted and not be judged for who they are. And that kind of just made it happy. They're kind of praising the internet and how they can be anyone who they want to be, and they don't have to pretend to be anyone else but who they are, and people actually accept it for them. And I think that a lot of people can relate to this song because, you know, a lot of people don't have friends in real life or freaks in real life, but on the internet, they can be whoever they want to be. And I think that's beautifully written in this song. You heard right. Final title, final title, final title. Alright. Final title, Love Will Tear Us Apart Again. So in this song, we are met with a beautiful love song from the twins. When routine bites hard, ambitions are low. When resentment rides high, emotions won't grow. And we're changing our ways, taking a different row. This is a way of them saying that sometimes people who love each other might grow apart or tear themselves apart. They continue this doubt of love that they have for each other and say things like, is my timing flawed? Have your feelings run dry? It's a way of them saying that even though they love each other, if passion isn't there, is love worth it? And the final line of them saying, just that something so good just can't function no more, is a cold truth that just because love is strong doesn't mean that love can function. My final analysis for the song is just, it might be the twins writing a song about someone they love but they can't be with because of the way they are, or it might be the twins writing a song to each other. It might not even be a love song about relationships. It might be a love song about sibling relationship and how their love for each other were tearing them apart, as we learned in the first song, Evelyn Evelyn, when one of the twins had a resentment for the other one. Alright, now for the moment you've all been waiting for. You know what, I'm just gonna cut it out. I need to find better memes. I'm tired of using the SpongeBob ones. Well, congratulations, you made it to the ending, and you're wondering, Lobo, what is the meaning behind two conjoined twins who have horrible life and end up getting out and becoming famous? Well, the answer is, there is no answer. Get off the computer, get a life. Seriously, what the heck are we all doing? Let's go out for a run. Fuck. Okay, I'm back from my run. So, I came up with two theories. The first one being this album represents the problem of being an artist. Like I said before, Evelyn Evelyn means desired or wished for. When we start the album, we have these twins talking to each other in a way that complements each other, but after a while they resent each other. Throughout the entire album, they are abused, mocked, just like a lot of artists are. And in the end, they all only have each other, but a lot of artists just have themselves and their resentment. After going through a lot of abuse, the sisters finally make it, and I think that it's what that album pushes artists not to give up. Now, the second theory, damn, it's a lot deeper than the first one. I think this album represents the failures of American society. So we have two conjoined twins who are born on September 11th. And if I have to remind you the meaning behind that day, then wow, that's pretty sad. Throughout the album, we have a lot of people who gave up on what is considered the American dream. We have a mother who gave up her assistant to attorney job, married her lover. We have a dad who wanted a quiet life on the farm and lost it. We have Sandy who wanted to be a pirate, but because of her situation, she ended up dying. The chicken farmer who just wanted to live on the farm ended up dying or disappearing too. Shit, even the truck driver who picked them up, who was a retired wrestler. Now, he's just a truck driver. A lot of people wanted a dream, but life unexpectedly fucked them with their fortune. We have a lot of failures of our society in America too. We have brothels behind trailer parks with underage girls, which sadly is a real thing. Low-income communities do have higher pedophilia. We have circuses that have been, in fact, linked to human slave trades and also animal abuse. And also, a huge problem in America, family members, is molesting younger kids, which is what I think when they mean uncles means. And then we have other family members ignoring their problems because, like the old woman said,
that family is family, and blood is thicker than water.
Then we have Evelyn Evelyn. These two conjoined twins that we followed through the whole story. Remember how I said they were born on September 11th? Well, I think this album might represent how we focus on 9/11 and ignore all the other problems. Or rather, we just focus on the things that aren't an issue anymore and ignore our current issues. Just like the twins, the story of 9/11 was horrible, tragic, disgusting, and I will not be making fun of that in any way. But I think that the conjoined twins represents who we are, how we are not able to separate from a lot of issues at hand. Another thing that I noticed is all the states that we mentioned in the album are states that no one gives a fuck about. Washington, Kansas, Iowa, just your run-of-the-mill states that get no news coverage or attention. Which goes back to my theory that this album represents how we distract ourselves from what really goes around in America. Also, between the heavy songs, we get cute country songs and melodies like Evelyn Evelyn, which I think represents how sometimes to keep us distracted, the media would rather keep us happy, feeding us what we want to hear rather than what we need to hear. Now, I'm not here to diss American society, because I know there are worse, but I feel like this album brings a lot of untalked about problems that we tend to ignore, since we'd rather focus on what we think is important rather than what is actually important. And a third theory that I have, which is kind of a sub-theory, but I think the artist just wants to bring into context what happens and taboo subjects like child SA and human trafficking. Either way, this album is amazing and very original. Everyone in the album did an amazing job, and I'm happy that I was able to talk about it. Did you enjoy the video? If you have any theories about this album, please leave in the comments below. Thank you for 1,000 subscribers, and I will see you guys very soon. Adios.